And it's one of those things where you can't think about falling, because if you think about falling, you're gonna fall. But if you just think about like the present moment and being where you are and focus on your breath, you can just take the next step. Hello, my name is Liz Thomas. I am a professional slackliner. Slacklining is similar to tightrope walking, but it's on a slack line opposed to a tightrope or a cable. Normally you'll see it in a park and it's like strung between two trees, but I like to do what's called highlining, and you just put up a slack line in between two cliffs. Slacklining is hard. For every step, you have to balance on that foot, and then you have to switch your whole body position to balance on your next foot. You have to balance on both feet, and then you have to take one off and go back to the other side. And so it's a lot of little things. There's a lot of breathing. I'd say most of it is your breath. It's such a mental game. I've gone through a lot of different ways to be able to kind of conquer that fear. If you aren't relaxed, you can't do it. You just shake and fall off. So I'm from Oklahoma, and I did grow up in a really white suburban neighborhood in Broken Arrow, and I was also in Girl Scouts, and I loved playing in the dirt, and I was a total tomboy, and I think that just stuck with me. And then I got a little older. I was in the Cherokee National Youth Choir for 5 years because I like to sing, and I do really love my Cherokee roots. And I went to college in Colorado and started rock climbing. And the first day I came back from rock climbing, there was a slack line up. And I started slacklining. And ever since then, I've been hooked. I think it took me about just less than an hour to walk across my first slack line, but that's like outrageous. Like most people, it takes them weeks. And maybe 2 years after that, I started being a highliner. One of my friends just was like, oh, hey, by the way, people do this in between cliffs. And I was like, no way. Why would you do that? And then now I do it all the time. You pretty much just do it because it's fun. Like, why do you do anything? Like, you do it because it's fun. You have a good time. You can share it with all your friends. And the community, the slacklining and highlining community is a really good community to be a part of. They're really supportive. I remember there was just somebody who was like, oh, hey, you'd be really good at aerial silks. And I went to a studio and I started doing aerial silks. And I was like, oh yeah, this is really fun. And then I slowly got into acro yoga. And now I teach acro yoga, I teach slacklining, I teach silks and aerial yoga and all the things. I love social media. That's how I started meeting slackliners that lived in other places, in other communities and states. There's things that just show up, like here's a festival in this country, come. And you're like, okay. I have gone to Mexico for a highlining festival. I've also been to Canada. I've highlined in Colorado and a couple places. There's communities all over the place, and you can find them on Facebook or through friend groups and Instagram. Hello, Instagram. Right now I'm doing this fun little photo shoot with Osiyo. I'm like a micro Insta famous. I'm not like a big Insta famous person, but I'm like on the lower end of Insta famous. Right now I have 15.8 thousand followers, and that was part of why it was so much fun going to Mexico, because I met so many people who were like, we followed you for years. Will you take a selfie with me? And I was like, yes, of course. I like still talk to loads of people or have become best friends with people through Instagram. We're here! Woo! It's nice having a presence on Instagram and showing that you can be an outdoor woman and do all these things. I set up aerial silks off of a highline. And highlining in general, there's just more men who do it. Aerial silks is something where it's mostly women. And I did that. I posted some pictures on Instagram like years ago. There's so many girls who do that now, and it just blows my mind, and it's really cool. And like, I've had people approach me in Canada that were like, I do this now because I saw you post this on Instagram. I'm like, oh, what? And so, yeah, I think it is important for girls to just feel comfortable to do whatever they want. And if they want to go outside and they want to camp and they want to highline, then they can do it. what people can get most out of aerial yoga, slackline yoga, and acro yoga is just learning how to love themselves and learning how to play. Like, it's okay to be an adult and fall on the ground a lot. And I think that's the one thing I want to teach anyone and everyone is you're never too old to play.